Hello.
Hi.
So I'm Maryann,
I'm Lisa.
and we want to talk to you about this important subject because when we're talking about wellness, work is a huge piece of our lives, a third actually of our lives.
Yeah, and the other part is spent, doing our regular life, connecting with people, taking care of our families, our husbands, and our kids, and sleeping. 1/3 of our life is sleeping.
And so often we don't pay attention. It's something that we do every day. Some people we just kind of slog through. We know we have to do it. But overall, it's just a huge critical part of our lives. And with my career, I have spent about 1/3 of my life actually at Microsoft, about 13 years, and also started my own company, Lit Up Leadership, because I have worked with individuals, both from those coming from college into corporate, leaders at the tip top, and managers. And there's so many people that just weren't loving what they did. So I went into people development, leadership development, and fell in love with helping people love their work. So about 10 years ago, I actually was doing some event planning, but that's not my focus. And so I wanted to bring in the best of the best, so I called Lisa.
It was very fun.
Yeah. We've had some amazing experiences together, creating events. And just through the years, we've been friends, we've created different experiences, but we started learning in different pathways, our own ways of how we can bring more life into work. Lisa's gone more into some spirituality sides. I've done some more of my PhDs in human and organizational systems. So in those streams of work, we came together and wrote a book called Engage, How Leaders Bring More Energy into Work into Life. And we wanted to share with you today 3 C's that you can take with you to bring back to your work. And just another question, just a quick poll of the room. Curious how many of you are leaders in this room? Beautiful. And not just presidents, CEOs, but leaders like mothers and business owners and those who are really just leading other people. Because this is for you. This isn't just for companies. It's great for companies because we want to change the world of work. It's our passion. But it really is for anyone who is in that leadership position.
So what we wanted to do is we want to start with how do we come to the table when we set our intentions for ourselves and our lives and to start our days, but also how do we set up a room? How do we set up an engaging time together? So for me and my spiritual practice with my shamanic work, I always set the tone by opening up sacred space, which is calling in on the energies for myself and for the person that I'm working with. And then in a corporate environment, I set up the space and I set up the stage by getting a vision, an end in mind, and how is everybody connect on this level? How's everybody going to connect in this environment when we're planning this event? So it's really important to get yourself ready and set up for what you're going to do and kind of open up a space for yourself when you step into your work every day or you step into an environment so that you kind of know how you're going to bring yourself to the table, and then you can set the table for how you want to interact with the person next to you.
Yes, and the key is really having the mindset of the focus on the other. So many of us come from, well, how am I feeling? I don't feel great right now, or however we're kind of set in our own ways. But a leader really thinks about that other person. How am I going to add value to you? How can I help set this up for you? And so we wanted to start with mindset because a lot of the things that we're going to be talking about and what we focus on comes from that original mindset of focus on the other. So the first C that we wanted to talk to you about is contribution. So contribution, of course, we are all rather compelled in some way or the other to contribute into life, and we want others to contribute to us. But how does that work? And I've been really excited about learning about it through the years because I just don't understand how can you motivate someone, it could be one person, it could be 2,000 people, it could be 20,000 people, to do something that you want them to authentically want to do. It's not, I believe in this cause, so please come over and join me. It's how does that actually work so that you're understanding how they're authentically motivated. So a lot of the work that I've done in my own personal research has revealed that a lot of it has to do with our need fulfillment. And we all have the basic needs, right? We need to sleep, we need to eat, but we also have psychological needs. And so how many of you know Maslow? Abraham Maslow. All right, it's Psychology 101, right? But it's important stuff. And there's a lot of other great models, DC and Ryan and others, but I've really modeled after DC and Ryan. and find that when you have your needs filled, particularly those of contribution, autonomy, relatedness, your self-esteem, when you're feeling that those needs are fulfilled in the environment that you're compelled to contribute. You want to contribute. It's actually another need that we need to fulfill.
Yeah, how much better do you feel when you're actually like coming to the table and spending time contributing to a project rather than just watching everybody else do it? You know, in any situation.
Mm-hmm. So critical.
So critical.
But yet we often, as leaders or in organizations, skip to the work. It's, well, you know, your job is X and your job is Y. So how do we come together and make that happen? But there's so much more that goes into it. And really how we get there is connection, which is critical and something that we feel is not very present in work right now, and is really what our mission is to bring back, is the real authentic connection at work.
I feel that if you don't connect with people first, nobody's going to contribute. Nobody's going to show up. So I belong to a parent participation school, and one of the things that we really focus on there is connecting with the child first. Before you step in and try to solve their problems, before you start to help them, you actually have to get to their eye level and connect with them and build a relationship with them. And so that's what we want to see happening more in corporate America, is people actually connecting with each other, looking at each other, seeing who they are, and caring about them a little bit more than just the normal everyday, we're all on our computers and distracted from everything that we're doing. It's really important to like build a connection within your environment so that you can engage on a different level. So Maryann's come up with this awesome little, tell them.
All right, well, so I created something called the care coaching model. And it wasn't really created to just create something. You know, it wasn't a corporate tool that let's just create this and run training. Yes, I'm involved in training and developing people, but it came from seeing so many people, as we were talking about earlier, just being miserable, and then watching leaders have the best intentions, really, the best intentions, but not able to really connect with people and not understand what is at the heart of those individuals that are giving their all every day, taking their time away from their families. How does that work? So coming up with this model connects them. We don't have time to go into the depths, but there's two pieces of it. There's first an assessment, which looks at the needs we were talking about earlier, of kind of where are you in terms of the employee in contribution, in autonomy, relatedness, and esteem. Asking some questions to really understand on a red, yellow, green level, how are you right now? How's this employee feeling? And it allows them to be open and talk about something without giving the details, if you will. It's just right now, you know, maybe I'm a yellow in esteem, I'm a 4. Or I'm, you know, a green in contribution. I feel like I'm making a huge difference right here. So it's just having that window. So after you have that assessment, though, what we wanted to take you through today is the coaching piece, the second component of the care coaching model.
This will be a good time to get a pen.
Yes, and so what we're going to do first is Lisa has graciously offered to demonstrate from a conversation that we actually had a few weeks ago. And from there, we just want to kind of show you how the conversation goes. And then, if you will, we'll just debrief after and kind of show you how this works so you can use it in your own life.
And you can just use this in your life with your children, with your friends. This is a good way for you to like tune in.
Absolutely. All right, so Lisa, you shared with me that your esteem was rather low lately. Do you know what's causing that for you?
I'm super insecure about getting up on stage and talking to people.
And what about actions? Have you taken any actions to kind of move that forward?
I've called Susie and I've called Gwen and I've complained about how scared I am about being on stage.
Well, it sounds like you're still kind of stuck there. So I'm here. How could we work together to resolve this?
Well, I think if we practiced a little more, and if I knew I had a mic, I probably would have felt a little more comfortable.
And so how about, I'm all for it. What about maybe you set aside 2 or 3 hours a week to ensure that no matter what, it's you and me time. Let's connect, understand where we both are, how we want to convey the messages that are so key to our heart. Would that work for you?
I think that could work for me.
Okay, so we can find a time, a date. But what about the effect? Where do you want that to take us?
I want to stand up and be powerful.
Awesome. All right, I'm with you. Let's do it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. So this is a natural conversation, right? A natural conversation between friends. But if you could notice there, we're kind of taking it from cause to effect, from a place of being stuck to a place of action. And Lisa's not just on her own. I'm there. I'm on her team. I'm with her. So it's how we can connect with other people in a particular work environment where it's not as easy and comfortable to say, please listen to me, please be there for me, please pay attention to me, but to really open up that dialogue and have a connection to move forward. So what we were talking about there, if you look at first cause, the first C, I was asking Lisa, why do you think this is, where do you think this esteem, low self-esteem is, what is being caused by? So if you just, and if you don't, you could take these notes and take it with you. But cause is the first one. It's really just looking inward and understanding, oh, yeah, I didn't really think about that sometimes. What's causing it? For both myself and for others understanding it.
Yeah, this is a tool that you can really use with yourself. If you're going through something and you're not feeling like you're going to be confident or you're struggling with something, what you really need to do first is really get in touch with yourself and look at what is the cause. Rather than just keep doing and doing and doing, take a step back, take a deep breath. Connect with yourself and find out what is it that you're looking for. What's the problem here? And then
action, because you can look, you can understand, but what have you actually done? And many times we can go one of two directions. We either take all sorts of actions, then we don't stop and look back and know that that's actually making a difference. And some of us don't take any action at all. So we continuously kind of run in circles. So with that, it's just what actions have you taken? And then having that dialogue actually opens up the conversation, the awareness of, oh, actions I've taken or haven't taken have either worked or not worked. So that when you move to R, the next piece, resolution, you can come up with some solutions that will work for both of you. That can take the person who is stuck at the moment and also take the organizational goals, the other goals that the leader's coming to the table with, and come together in harmony. So you can find a place of resolution so that you both can move forward.
And then you're building a relationship when you're doing that as well at work, something that's a little more deep because you're coming to the table and actually like sharing yourself with these people.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, which is really the core of it all. In the end, you're having these conversations, but it builds extreme trust and extreme connection. And the final piece is effect. What kind of effect would you like this action for us to take together to have? And it could seem that, well, is that really necessary? It's actually critical. Because as we just from research has shown and from probably our own life experience, I know I've experienced, that if you don't have that intention being very strong, you can go in two different directions. So you're finally coming together, you have that awareness, you find an action that you're going to move toward. But what effect are we going to have together by doing this so that you're moving forward together in the same direction? So cause, action, resolve, and effect. How can you care about that other person that you're working with, that you live with, your husband, whoever? But you also, this could be for yourself. We're demonstrating and discussing work and environment. This can also be something that you're using for yourself. If you're feeling just stuck and you're not sure what the heck's going on, maybe look inside and see what need of yours isn't really being fulfilled right now. Do you just feel like, gosh, I just don't feel able? My esteem right now is kind of low. I don't feel competent in what I'm doing. Or contribution. I don't feel like I matter right now. I don't feel like anybody's paying attention or cares about me. Whatever it is.
Right, and then what kind of actions are you going to take to move forward? And what do you want the outcome to be? So it's always like beginning with an end in mind, trying to see the vision for what you want. And if you can actually like see visually, what you want in the end, then maybe those steps could be a bit more easy to work through because you've got a vision for how you want it to be. Maybe that could be like a roadmap to the end.
So we hope that tool is helpful for you, both in your own personal life and for those that you want to connect with and work in other places. But then our third C.
Our third C is celebration, and that's what I do. It's really important, and I know that we all do this in our lives. We're always working on our goals. We're always working on the next thing. We do all these little steps, and we get to our completion, and then all of a sudden we're on to the next thing. So we don't celebrate ourselves. We never celebrate our accomplishments. And that's a problem. I think that people really need to start celebrating all the accomplishments that you have. We celebrate birthdays, we celebrate coming of ages and weddings and so forth. But it's really important to celebrate yourself and everything that you've done and how you've come to the table. But also with corporations, it's really important for everybody to get together and to celebrate in community all the projects that they've worked on. So for example, with Microsoft, Maryann and I plan these awesome events where people have been working on this project forever. For like 4 or 5 years. And Maryann came to me and she said, Lisa, I really want to celebrate these people, and I really want to say thank you, and I want them to come and be in community so that they can connect with one another on a deeper level and actually let their guard down. And that's my job as an event planner, is always to create a space so that people can do that, so they can celebrate each other and really connect with one another. And I think that we all need to pay a little more attention to the celebration part, because that's the most fun part, and that's where you kind of finish with a purpose, and you connect to the purpose that you all came together for. You let your guard down, and then you connect on a different level, a deeper level. So maybe next time, your next project can be a little more vibrant, a little more connected, so that you can all be together.
And it really brings together the first two C's, having that contribution, how we all work together in connection to create something together. And when it really comes down to it, it does come down to us being human at work. How do we make that be more comfortable, more natural? Because when we're fully engaged, when you think about just the times in your life when you have loved what you were doing and you left feeling like, I really made a difference, I love these people I'm working with, it's usually because you're connecting at a much deeper level. It's not just the surface. So that we leave you with, but thank you so much. We hope these 3 C's of contribution, connection, and celebration are with you. Call us whenever we can help you to do it. But thank you so much for holding the space for us to talk about that with you today.
Thank you very much.